Have you ever listened to a person that has the voice of a strong black man, but in reality is owned by a chubby white guy? Well, then you have the SeetherCord podcast. Hello, everybody. This is SeetherCord, and welcome to my first episode of my SeetherCord podcast, which is known as SeetherCast here. Yes, pretty much. This is my going to be my first podcast where it's going to be unedited, unfiltered, where essentially I'm just going to be talking for about, I guess, 20 to 30 minutes where, you can kind of get like a vibe of Seether Talks, but in reality, it's more so like unedited and you get like the full sauce of it pretty much. So I hope you all pretty much enjoy this whole concept of a series. Hopefully it doesn't crash and burn and fail like I might expect it to, but I think it won't because there's something I have to add involving this. Even though it's currently just myself talking at the moment, I will also note that, however, this is not going to be a podcast where it's just going to be me, myself talking. This is also going to be a podcast where each episode is going to be a new guest, and I'll get more into the guests later. It's just this current episode that you're listening, episode 0, is going to be involving just me talking to kind of get some things straightened out and out of the way right now. So the next couple episodes might be different from this. It might. So I want to clear that out of the way. First thing I want to clear up involving the reason as to why I'm really starting this podcast is because not two reasons mainly. One, I would really like, to have more of a, in-depth, unedited kind of, talk with the viewer. I would like for you guys to see the full me for a good portion of time, without any editing, with no scripts, none of that. Because I have Seether Talks, and you guys get somewhat of a vibe of me, but however, you don't really see the full me. That's just being honest. You don't ever really see, me unedited and such, without a bunch of editing and all. But you might now, because of this whole series, if this series doesn't crash and burn. The second reason is because this is actually a series where I want to help out my fellow content creators. I want to help out people who I feel like, deserve more recognition as content creators. Some of my personal best friends, which I feel like are good content creators. Doesn't matter if you're big or slightly small. None of that matters. It just matters that you make content that I feel suitable to hopefully me and you can, take content and, we can talk well together to make a podcast. So this is the first episode. I have a few people definitely planned. In terms of who I'm going to be having on, it's mostly going to be both furry and non-furry styled. I'm not saying this is just going to be a strictly furry-centered podcast. There are people I have planned coming on who are not furries, but people who I am friends with personally that are cool with it, and they're more so, we're going to be discussing many different other topics. And this is not going to be also a podcast where I'm going to be discussing just furry-centered stuff. There's going to be all forms of spectrums involving who the guest is and what I'm going to be talking about. Like, I'm going to be bringing on some very well-known gaming channels, so we're going to be talking about games quite a bit, and gaming on YouTube as well. And also, I'm going to be talking about with other people such as animators, what do they think of animation, be it they're furry or not. So that's also going to be discussed. Another thing I'm going to bring up involving collaborators, I do know that there's a lot of people who want to collaborate with me, and I will say that it gets a little bit stressful when people, bring up that to me, they message me oh, I want to collaborate. And then the thing is, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to limit myself to who I collaborate with. And there's also just people who want to collaborate with me that I've never really spoken to. And so I don't want to end up collaborating with people I don't really know personally, or people I don't, feel like I really, conversationalize well with in terms of this. Because this podcast is pretty much going to be, replacing all of my collaboration videos, which I'm pretty much going to be moving all my collaborations onto this podcast, because I don't want to make one-off just discussion videos for collaborations. I want to move that to just podcasts. Oh, excuse me, my God. But yeah. Next thing I want to go into is into some other concepts of what this podcast will be like. Since it's going to be unedited and unscripted, you might see me act a little differently. I'm mostly going to be just, you know, a lot more, you know, open to, you know, discussion about some more controversial stuff, which might trigger some people, but hopefully it won't. I want to warn you guys that I'm not on along the lines of the SJW side, which quite a few people on YouTube are, or people that, you know, watch certain videos of my type kind of are. I'm not like that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not like open to having people that think that way to watching me, or I'm open up to discussion that's civil and not, you know, just gonna be like, fuck you the whole time. Because there are people on the SJW side that, you know, are open now to, you know, discussion. Like, I know the YouTuber Lacey Green used to not be open to that, but now she is. So good for her. And yeah, pretty much. I got a few people planned, which are going to be left as surprises, as who's coming on, to be exact. Another thing I want to clear out is, I'm a little bit lost for words right now. I got some freaking fat for art as my desktop photo right now, and I'm just like freaking weird, because I'm a weird guy. You haven't realized I'm weird yet? Is that what you think, guys? Is that what you think? Why are you watching this right now? This is going downhill already. My God. Self-deprecation for the win! Yes! But overall, if you want to, you know, give your intake of what you think, just leave a comment down below telling me what you think about this concept. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you interested? Are you intrigued? Are you turned on? Are you turned off? Are you ashamed? Are you sweaty? Things of that nature, you know. But pretty much that's all I have to really say involving, you know, this podcast. Sorry this first episode introduction is going to be pretty short. When I get on guests, I'll have more in terms of, like, you know, what we're going to be discussing. I will say that it's not going to be a really, like, a well-structured podcast. It's going to basically be us talking about whatever really the guest feels like we can, like, ram the show into talking about as well. You know, we could, like, start off by talking about video games. The next thing we could go to is talking about freaking Vor or something like that. But yes, be aware of that. If you enjoy this concept, please let me know. If you don't, please let me know as well. If you hate my guts for this, please let me know as well. Just whatever, just leave a comment telling me what you think. So that is pretty much going to wrap up this short little introduction episode of SeetherCast. I'm trying to get used to not saying Seether Talks or furry review/analysis or furry fan art appreciation. I overused the word furry, my God. But thank you all for watching this first episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like to help me out, or subscribe to help me out as well. I've been SeetherCord, and this is not usually how relaxed I am. I'm really relaxed today for some reason. Maybe it's just the podcast vibe or something. I don't know. But once again, this has been SeetherCord of SeetherCast. I will see you guys in the next episode. So goodbye, everyone.